I've been subscribed to Owlcrate since December of 2017. Unfortunately, I didn't start filming my unboxings until July of 2018. Over the years, I've received quite a few books. Some I've read, some I haven't. Some I've loved, others not so much. For the next 6 months, I will make my way through these books. Welcome to the TBR Veterans Project, Owlcrate Edition. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Haley and you're watching Between the Pages. It is time to pick the books for episode 5 of Owlcrate TBR Veterans. I never thought we'd get to this point. We still have at least one more episode or more, depending on if I decide to extend this. So yeah, we're going to pick I think I'm going to knock it down to 5 books because that seems to be my average. So instead of doing 6, we're going to do 5. And I'm pretty certain that either Divine Rivals is going to come up in this episode or the next episode. So we'll see if the TBR jar is going to be kind to me. The first book is Amber and Dusk. So let me grab that real quick. So book number 1 is going to be Amber and Dusk by Lyra Celine. I want to say this is 2021, 2022. I know it's an older one because we have a paper Dear Reader letter. So we're just going to find out what it's about. I wasn't running from the darkness at the edge of nowhere. I was running toward the light at the end of the heart of the I was running toward the light at the heart of the empire. Sylvie has always known that she deserves more. Out in the permanent twilight of the Dusklands, the Sisters of the Scion taught her that legacy. Her power to create illusions was a curse, but Sylvie knows it entitles her to a place in the I don't know. I'm going to put it right here because it looks like it's like French or something and I'm not good at pronouncing that. The Palais of the Amber Empress and her highborn legacies. And so Sylvie sets off toward the Amber City, a glittering jewel under a sun that never sets, to take what is hers. But her hope for a better life at court is quickly dimmed. The Empress Severine invites her only as part of a cruel rager among her beautiful and powerful courtiers. Sylvie must assume a new name, Mirage, and work to hone her magic. She begins to navigate secretive social circles and join deadly games of intrigue in order to claim her spot at court, and soon it becomes apparent that things are not as they appear. However, no one, including her cool yet captivating sponsor, Sunder, will answer her questions. As Mirage strives to seize what should be her rightful place, she must consider whether it is worth the price she will have to pay. Lyra Celine weaves a lush and dangerous story of sacrifice, secrets, and star-crossed love in this remarkably striking debut. So I do know that this is book 1 in a series, so there is a sequel. I think it's only a duology. I don't think it's a trilogy. I'll have to look that up when I do the editing for this video, but I'm pretty sure it's just a duology. So this will be book 1. Now we're going to pick book 2. Book 2 will be Skin of the Sea. So book 2 will be Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen in, I want to say 2022, 2021, but I know it's an older one because, again, we have a paper Dear Reader letter. So we're just going to find out what it's about. A way to survive, a way to serve, a way to save. Simi prayed to the gods once. Now she serves as the Mami Wata, a mermaid, collecting the souls of those who die at sea and blessing their journeys back home. But when a living boy is thrown overboard, Simi does the unthinkable. She saves his life, going against an ancient decree, and punishment awaits those who dare to defy it. To protect the other Mami Wata, Simi must journey to the Supreme Creator to make amends, but all is not as it seems. There's the boy she rescued who knows more than he should, and something is shadowing Simi, something that would rather see her fail. Danger lurks at every turn, and as Simi draws closer, she must brave vengeful gods, treacherous lands, and legendary creatures. Because if she doesn't, then she risks not only the fate of all the Mami Wata, but also the world as she knows it. So, interesting. I did know this was like a mermaid book because I want to say it has something to do with the theme of this book box that this came in. So I kind of knew it was like mermaids. But yeah, this is book 2. So now we're going to pick book 3. And the third book will be Jade Fire Gold. So book 3 will be Jade Fire Gold by June C.L. Tan. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce that, but I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't want to butcher it. So this is also an older one. So 2022, 2021. I don't think it was a 2020. But yeah. So we're going to read what it's about. On is no one. Found as a child, she has no memory of her past, only a dark secret. Magical powers that would mean her imprisonment if they were ever discovered. But when On's secret is accidentally exposed, she's sent to the Imperial Palace to await her fate. Alton's real name was once known throughout the Shi Empire. When his family was murdered and his birthright hijacked, he lost everything. Now with a new name and vengeance on his mind, he intends to gain it all back, even if it means entangling his very soul with dark and dangerous magic from which he might never escape. When Alton encounters On and her mysterious abilities, he sees in her a path to reclaiming the throne. Their tenuous alliance is on the verge of becoming something more, when the depth of On's dark powers are awakened and the two realize restoring the Empire might come at a far deadlier price than they ever could have imagined. So, interesting. Again, kind of sounds like a generic YA fantasy. I know I have some adult fantasy on here. We're just not pulling any of them. So, again, generic YA fantasy, but I have been surprised before. So hopefully this one will also surprise me. Now we are going to pick book 4. I'm just like, Divine Rivals is going to pop up somewhere. I just know it. Oh, so book 4 is actually going to be 4 Dead Queens. So let me grab that. So the next book will be 4 Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte. It says one big lie, 2 forbidden romances, 3 days to catch a killer. Interesting. This one comes with character art, so I guess this is all 4 of the Dead Queens. So that'll be nice. I like when it has character art in it because then I can refer back to it while I'm reading. And again, it's an older one. We have a paper Dear Reader letter. This one, I would go so far as to say maybe 2019 or 2020. I know I've had it for a while, but I don't think it's been in the last couple years because I just know that this is an older one. So I'm going to say 2019 or 2020, somewhere around there. 17-year-old Coralie Corrington may seem harmless, but in fact she's one of Quadara's most skilled thieves and a liar. Varin, on the other hand, is an honest, upstanding citizen of Quadara's most enlightened region, Ionia. Varin runs afoul of Coralie when she steals a package from him, putting his life in danger. When Varin attempts to retrieve the package, he and Coralie find themselves entangled in a conspiracy that leaves all 4 Quadara's queens dead. With no other choices and on the run from Coralie's former employer, the two decide to join forces, endeavoring to discover who has killed the queens and save their own lives in the process. When their reluctant partnership blooms into a tenuous romance, they must overcome their own dark secrets in hopes of a future together that seemed impossible just days before. But first, they have to stay alive and untangle the secrets behind the nation's 4 dead queens. So, interesting. I do like me some court intrigue, so I'm hoping maybe this has a little bit of it. Every time I see this cover, I just think of Henry VIII and his 6 wives. So now we're going to pick our 5th and final book. I might end up doing 6, depends on when I get all of these read or if I end up DNFing a lot. So let's go ahead and pick. If it's Divine Rivals, I'm putting it back. It's not. It's Spin the Dawn. So let me grab that one. I actually am really excited to read that one. So the 5th and final book for now is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. I do know this is like a royal, like tailor kind of book because it's called Spin the Dawn. And I know this is a series. So we have a cool little bookmark, I guess. And it says, I'm tired of being told I'm not worthy. So obviously this came in the book box. Again, I want to say 2019, 2020, because I know I've had this for a while. We have a paper Dear Reader letter. So now we're going to find out what it's about. A gifted tailor in disguise, 3 legendary dresses, the competition of a lifetime. On the fringes of the Great Spice Road, Maya Tamarin works as a seamstress in the shop of her father, once a tailor of renown. She dreams of becoming the greatest tailor in the land, but as a girl, the best she can hope for is to marry well. When a royal messenger summons her ailing father to court, Maya poses as his son and travels to the summer palace in his place. So we've got some Mulan vibes going on. She knows her life is forfeit if her secret is discovered, but she'll take that risk to save her family from ruin and achieve her dream of becoming the imperial tailor. There's just one catch. Maya is one of 12 tailors vying for the job. The competition is cutthroat, and Maya's job is further complicated by the unwelcome attention of the court enchanter Eden, who seems to see straight through her disguise. But nothing could have prepared her for the final challenge, to sew 3 gowns so dangerously beautiful, it will take a quest to the ends of the earth to complete them. And it says book 1 in the Blood of Stars duology. So this is a duology. I do know there's a sequel to it. Again, I don't think Owlcrate ever did a matching cover. But this was back when Owlcrate didn't do a lot of customization. Like the most they would do was like change a couple colors on the cover, maybe change the color of the spine or the writing. But for the most part, I know they look like exactly like the trade covers. So yeah, that is the final book that we'll be reading. Again, we've got some older books in this stack this time. May or may not bode well for them because my reading tastes have changed a lot since I subscribed to Owlcrate. And so I don't know how many of these will be DNFs because most of my episodes have had 2 or 3 DNFs in them. So depending on if I end up DNFing half of these or I read a couple and DNF the rest, we may pick a 6th book, but I'm going to reserve judgment until we read these books. So yeah, those are the 5 books we'll be reading in this episode, and I will see you guys when I start reading them. So I have chosen to DNF Amber and Dusk. I am so disappointed because I really, really wanted to like this book. Also, starting off an episode with a DNF, not a good sign. But I did not like this book. Like, the main character, like, she keeps, like, continuously getting kicked when she's down. She, like, never has a win or anything, even though, like, halfway through the book. The main love interest, Sunder, is horrible. He's the worst. There was this one line that he said, like he has the power to, like, hurt people with his mind. Hence the name Sunder. And the main love interest, like the main female love interest, is like why didn't that hurt? And because he like continuously hurts her with his mind, and he's like, I'm sorry, there's just something about you that makes me want to hurt you. And I'm like, excuse me, like, red flag. Like, not hurt you like in a sexy way, but hurt you as in like a abusive type hurt. And I was just like, I am just not interested. It also has this very much like pauper to princess like storyline. So like princess makeover, turning her into a lady of the court and stuff like that. And like normally I would like that in a book, but there was just something not right with this book. And I am really disappointed because I really wanted to like this book. It seemed like it would probably be up my alley, but yeah, unfortunately, I am DNFing. I am like 25 to 30% through with Spin the Dawn. That's the next book that I'm reading. I'm currently tandem reading, so I'm audiobooking and reading at the same time. And I really like it so far. So fingers crossed that I don't DNF this one. And the next one after that will either be Four Dead Queens or Jadefire Gold. I'll have to see which one has an audiobook and which one doesn't have an audiobook, so I can have an audiobook and a physical read going on at the same time, so we can get through more books. So yeah, unfortunately, starting off this episode with a DNF. not a good sign. Hopefully I like the rest of these books. So I guess I will update you when I have either gotten halfway through Spin the Dawn or I'm halfway through another book. So I have finished Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. I gave it a 3 because while I did like this, I was more here for the Project Runway like competition and less of the whole like quest to get these items to make the 3 dresses. I just didn't care about that part, and I think I would have liked it a lot more had we stayed like grounded like in the competition and stuff. So yeah, and like the magic system ended up getting like really abstract for me, and I had a hard time visualizing what the hell was going on. So that is why I am probably not going to continue in this series. I have no interest in continuing because I don't really care about like what's going to happen with the main character in Eden. I'm like, I don't care. I just, yeah, I liked the first half of this book, didn't like the second half. And I think I'm going to move on to Skin of the Sea next by Natasha Bowen. All I know is that this is Black Mermaids and has gods and things like that. This is also the beginning of a series, so I guess we'll see if I end up continuing after this one. So I have chosen to DNF Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. That means we are now up to 2 DNFs for this episode. I really liked the beginning. It's just when it like really got into like the conflict, like her trying to seek absolution from like the supreme creator and her meeting Kola and stuff, and I really didn't care. I liked the aspect of the gods and like the folklore and the mythology, but I just didn't care about the plot. So that's why I've chosen to DNF. So we are now up to 2 DNFs for this episode. Which means we're going to move on to 4 Dead Queens by Astrid Schult. It's actually Schult because I listened to a little bit of the audiobook just to like kind of get a jump on it. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Yeah. This is the second to last book that I chose for this episode. So depending on if this is a DNF or how long it takes me to finish this, we may or may not pick a 6th book because I only picked 5 for this, which thank goodness, but we'll see, I guess. So the next book will be 4 Dead Queens. So I am halfway through 4 Dead Queens and I am loving it so much. Like, I'm loving it more than I thought I was going to, and I also found out that this is sci-fi. I didn't know this was sci-fi going in, just like based off the synopsis. It didn't really say anything about it being sci-fi. I thought it was like a historical fantasy almost, or like fantasy with historical elements in it and things like that. But no, it's sci-fi, which I was pleasantly surprised, and I am loving it so far. Like I said, I love the main character. She is ruthless. Going in, you know, the 4 queens die, like it's in the title, 4 Dead Queens. So you already know going in like that they're gonna die, and it's just the anticipation and suspense of them getting killed. I really like that because one of the other queens just died, so we have 2 dead queens, 2 more to go. So you're also like every other chapter is Carolee and then one of the queens. So I think it might be dual timeline. I am not quite sure. I haven't figured it out yet. But yeah, loving this so far. I'm so happy because I have not liked most of the books that I've read for this episode. So yeah, I will update you when I have finished it. So I have finished 4 Dead Queens by Astrid Schult, and this is the standout of this episode. Like I said, this was sci-fi, and I did not know going in because on Goodreads it says fantasy, but in my mind, it's not fantasy, it's sci-fi, and I know that sci-fi is like kind of like a subgenre of fantasy, but yeah, this was a standout. It is 5 stars going right along with Goddess in the Machine and Heart of Iron, my 2 favorite sci-fi books that I've ever read. So yeah, I adored this book, and I am so glad I did not unhaul this before reading, because again, it was one of those that just like surprised me in how much I liked it. So yeah, 5 stars. So unfortunately, going from a 5-star to a DNF was not a great thing. I know that this is for it was like marketed as for fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I am not an Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, so I don't know if I just don't get it, because a lot of people are floating around, I think Zutara, I don't know. I think that's Zuko and whoever, I don't know. Like, I don't know, because I've never watched Avatar. I'm not a fan of Avatar. I don't really care about the anime or the manga or anything, never read it. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just, and I like the premise, because like the other half, so it's a dual perspective, and the other half is like an exiled prince, which usually I do love that trope, but I just didn't like it the way that it was executed in this book. Like, frankly, I think that Ann and the Crown Prince would have been a better pairing, in my opinion. The Crown Prince is either gay or bisexual. It's implied that he's gay, but which doesn't bother me. I don't care. I don't care about that. But yeah, I just feel like that'd be a better pairing, and she kind of has like fish out of water, like peasant girl raised up to the level of a princess, basically, which again, love that trope. I think it was just the combination of all these tropes and the world that it's set in. Again, it's one of those fantasy worlds that is perpetually at war with another nation, and you never really figure out why. And I don't know, it's just very generic YA fantasy for me. So for that reason, I am choosing to DNF this. So that brings us to the end of the long drawn out episode 5 of Owlcrate TBR Veterans. Wasn't the best, because we have 3 DNFs and a 3-star and a 5-star. So this was definitely the standout. This one, Spend the Dawn, I liked it well enough, but I liked the first half, like the competition, but I didn't like the last half. So for that reason, I am going to be unhauling it. So Four Dead Queens is the only book that is going to be going on my shelves. So unfortunately, the rest of these will be hitting the unhaul pile. I am going to pick the books for episode 6, which is the penultimate episode, and we'll talk about that when I go to film that and everything. But yeah, that was episode 5, hoping that episode 6 ends on a higher note, but we'll see. So I guess I will see you guys later.